is a common experience among adults, teens, and even children. Students are no exception. They experience exam stress. We're going to look at how stress affects your performance and what are the available options on dealing with stress. This now leaves us with the question, what is stress? It is the reaction people have to excessive demands or pressures, and for students it is very common to feel stressed around exam time. You might feel there's a huge amount of pressure to do well or anxiety because you cannot fit all the revision in. Why is stress a major problem for students, especially at exam time? Ms. Nicolene Medak, the Executive Director for Teaching and Learning at Monash, had this to say.
I think it's actually not the exam's fault that the worst comes out of students during exam time. It's the responsibility of the student to prepare themselves for exam. And I think when students are not sufficiently prepared, then they start stressing about exams. So I think that's where we need to clarify the responsibilities of the student and not blame the exam for the stress, but look at whether the student is sufficiently prepared for the exam. So in order for them to not perform badly in exams, they have to have a plan and they have to look at the study material that has to be covered during a certain semester, and they have to devise a plan for themselves so that they can ensure that they cover all the content, that they work through the content, so that when they get to the exam, that it's not the worst in them that comes out. Because usually when students act bad during exams or when it's not going well with them, then it's because of a lack of planning and sufficient preparation.
Alright, so can you say is exam stress a good thing or a bad thing? And if it is a bad thing, why is it bad?
I think exam stress is a good thing because it puts on a bit of pressure. I think students should have a bit of anxiety around the exam. If you are too comfortable, then you go into the exam, maybe a bit too comfortable, then you won't perform as well. So I think the stressful situation of an exam help a student, that the adrenaline is pumping and that they perform really well. But exam stress can be a very bad thing if it overrules and it overtakes the student, because then they stress so much that they cannot concentrate and they cannot concentrate on the content and at the task at hand.
Stress does not only affect you mentally, it also affects you physically. Dr. Barton now explains how stress affects the body.
My name is Dr. Martin Eybers, and I'm a general practitioner in the Randstad.
Okay, can you please tell us what is stress?
Well, I think everyone experiences stress from all levels of life, and it's usually more when people get older. Even children get stress as well, but it's mostly when they get older, higher in the high schools and colleges, universities, and so where the stress becomes a limiting factor, where the stress becomes there's an excessive amount of stress from the learning and from house problems, money problems, marriage problems, children problems, all these problems in life that we've all got them. And the more adult you are, the more problems you've got, and these problems lead into stress, and that limits your ability to perform adequately in what you're supposed to do.
Okay. What effect does stress have on the body as well as the mind?
Yeah, the stress is a mental thing. So whatever the reason for the stress is, still is a mental thing. But that mental thing gives you physical symptoms which you are asking about. So stress is not something, you are stressed in your mind, but you get physical symptoms like you get a stomach ulcer, or you get a high blood pressure, or you start tremoring, or you can't sleep, or you get palpitations, and there's lots of physical symptoms which you get from stress.
Monash, through the Student Development Department, provides the means and facilities of dealing with stress, such as counseling and workshops.
Okay, my name is Dashian Reddy, and I'm the counselor here at Monash, South Africa.
Alright. So, Mr. Dashindran, please can you just tell us a little bit about what does the university offer for students who are stressed?
Okay, well, depends what kind of stress they're going through, but we run workshops, psychosocial programs, as well as offer them counseling.
Alright. So, have there been cases of students that have experienced exam stress?
Yes, there has been, and for that we've run exam techniques, study techniques, and exam stress and anxiety workshops for those students.
What tips can you give to students or strategies to deal with exam stress?
My biggest tip for students about exam stress is that they should start right from the beginning of the semester to prepare for the exam. The way programs are developed and curriculum are developed is that it's with the exam in mind. So the lecturer are actually preparing you for an exam from the beginning of the semester. So my biggest advice to a student would be, don't wait until the exam comes, but prepare throughout the semester and already work on your notes, on your assignments with the exam in mind.